So, good morning everyone. I am Lianuel Vergante, or you can call me Sir Lian. Today, I will be your instructor for the topic Intro to Java. So, this lesson, this lesson will contain the following. We will learn the introductory concepts of not only Java but computer programming in general. We will also learn what is Java and how does it work. And lastly, we will learn the Java environment. How does the things inside Java connect to one another? But first, let's first understand the introductory concept of computer programming. When you hear the word computer programming, what are the things that come into your mind? So pag narinig niyo yung computer programming, yung word mismo na computer programming or just programming in general, ano mga bagay yung naiisip niyo? So raise your hands. Mm-hmm. That's a good answer. Okay. So actually, all of those things that you have said, as in one way or another, is connected into programming or computer programming. But honestly, yung concept ng programming or ng programming languages is really easy. Kasi we are just going to ask the computer to do a certain command or a certain string of commands. So for example, ako nakikipag-usap ako sa inyo gamit yung dialect na alam ko, which is Tagalog saka English. Pag sinabihan ko kayo na kumuha ng papel o kaya kumuha ng ballpen, magsagot ng quiz, naiintindihan nyo yun, di ba? So, pwede ba natin gawin yon sa computer? For example, tatanungin ko ng laptop ko. Ikaw na nga mag turo na ito, natamad na ako, nakapapagod na ako. Kaya natin gawin yon. Kaya natin kaya natin kausapin yung mga devices natin. Pero, walang nangyayari. Nagmumukha lang tayong baliw actually. So, this is wherein the programming languages or computer programming comes into play. Siya yung nagsaserve as bridge or tulay as from us, programmers, in order for us to ask them to do commands. So, yun lang yun. That's the main concept of programming languages and computer programming in general. Now, just like our dialects or the languages that we speak, there's also a um, broad number of programming languages. So the first one that we are going to, or rather, the one that we are going to get in depth on is Java. So ayan, may mga words dyan na maybe related to Java or can be related to Java. So take note of those if you want, and we will move on. But before we move on into Java itself, I still have to prime you with computer programming basics or introductory concepts that you need to know first. So first is algorithms. So pag narinig yung algorithms, parang sobrang sobrang techy. It's really not commonly used word. But actually, it's just a very simple concept. It's just a step-by-step problem-solving process. So, I want you to participate. Give me the last chore or last na utos sa inyo ng parents nyo. Okay, maghugas ng pinggan. So, the problem is, kailangan natin maghugas ng pinggan. Now, to solve that problem, we are going to make a step-by-step algorithm. So first, tingnan natin kung gaano kadami yung pinggan ng hugasan. Next, kukuha tayo ng sabon. Or kukuha tayo ng dishwashing liquid. And then kukuha tayo ng sponge. And then, hugasan na natin. Tapos, after hugasan, babanlawan natin yung sabon. Make sure na hindi amoy sabon, baka masigawan tayo ng parent natin. So that is how algorithm works. There are some different algorithms na kailangan na natin mag-branch out. For example, same example, hugas tayo ng pinggan. So anong titignan natin kung gaano kadami yung pinggan. Tapos kuha tayo ng dishwashing liquid. Kaso, walang dishwashing liquid. Ngayon, meron na tayong branch out. So, yung mga options tayo, either bibili tayo ng bagong dishwashing liquid o kaya gagamit na lang tayo ng bareta dun sa labahan ni nanay. Now, after those, tutuloy lang uli yung process. So, that's how algorithms work. It can be really complex na maraming if-else, if-else, or it could be really simple na from top to bottom lang siya. Now, we will use the knowledge of those algorithms in order to do what's called a problem solving process. So, ginawa na natin actually yung first two steps dyan. Yung problem analysis and algorithm design. So, sa problem, sundan natin yung flowchart ha. So, the problem, hanap tayo ng problema, analyze, titignan natin kung ano yung problema, again, tinignan natin kung gano'ng kadaming hugasin. And then, we will build an algorithm. So, nagawa na natin yon. But, if we go into programming, syempre, i-integrate natin yung coding and programming in general. So, after nakagawa na tayo ng, kunyari, sige, isip tayo ng ibang example. Pagiging late. That's a problem. Analyze natin. Ano mong problema? So, ang problema is, late ako natutulog. Bakit ako late natutulog? Kasi naglalaro ako. Ngayon, gagawa tayo ng algorithm. So, first is, we have to have a way para ma-inform tayo na time na para matulog and time na para gumising. So, gagawa tayo ng alarm. So, i-code na natin yung alarm. Ngayon, habang kinocode natin yon, there's always going to be errors. It's really part of the experience na magkaroon ng mga errors. Kasi within those errors, dun din tayo natututo na next time din na natin gagawin yon. So, coding, and then compile, tapos magkaka-error na naman. Tapos ko-code ulit natin, ayusin natin, compile, error, code, compile, hanggang wala na tayong matanggap na error. Ngayon, yung code na ginawa natin, papasok siya sa computer. Tapos tatranslate siya sa machine code, yung binary, zeros and ones. After that, it will get loaded. So, babasahin na ni computer yung ginawa mong code. Now, if there is a library that you have used, for example, sa Java, para makagawa ka ng random variables, kailangan mo ng math na library. Ngayon, titingnan niya if need mo. If hindi, pupunta na siya sa interpreter. So, after niya basahin, iintindihin niya na. Now, here comes the other error. Kasi hindi lang syntax error yung meron sa programming. There's also something called a logical error. Now, logical errors are code or methods that work. Gumagana siya. Pero, hindi yun yung gusto mong output. So, for example, gumagana yung alarm mo, tumutunog siya. Kaso, pag nag-set ka ng alarm for 6 a.m., nagiging 6 p.m. nag-a-alarm. Hindi mas lalo ka na late, hindi ka na nakapasok kasi natulog ka hanggang 6 p.m. Ngayon, gumagana yung program mo, pero tama ba yung output natin? Hindi. So, babalik tayo sa algorithm design. Titingnan natin kung tama ba to, kung maayos ba yung pagkakagawa natin. And then, the process will continue. Compile, error, coding, compile, error, papasok sa machine code. Until dumating tayo sa point na yung code or yung program natin is super refined na wala na siyang error, and the results are perfect. Not really perfect, but acceptable. So, yun yung problem-solving process. So, familiarize yourself with this diagram. Take pictures if you want. Kasi, for sure, the people here that are going to get into programming will be very, very, very familiarized with this diagram. Next is, let's get into Java. So, what is Java? Before we start, are there any people here that have heard of Java or have an idea what Java is? Raise your hands if you want to. Okay, so I think medyo manti-onti, but that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here to teach you about Java. So before we get into the technicals, let us first know what Java actually is. So Java is a high-level programming language that was developed by Sun Microsystems for general-purpose business applications and interactive web-based internet applications. Java can be used to write programs to run on any operating system or device. So Java daw is a programming language, a high-level programming language. So developed siya by Sun Microsystems. And ang main purpose niya before is business applications and web-based applications. So web dev and system dev. But now, actually, Java is, if you a little bit of field knowledge, Java is actually used mostly for Android development. There's a fork, or you can think of it as anak ni Java, which is called Gradle. Another, no, Kotlin. It's called Kotlin, which is used now to write Android applications, mobile applications. So that's the thing with Java. You can use it for almost everything. I think you can't really use it on iOS. I'm not sure, but I actually can use it on iOS. You just have to use a different IDE. So ayan, Java is a multi-platform programming language. Ngayon, we will go into development environments. So, paano natin magagamit yung Java? Kailangan naman titingnan lang natin siya. So, kailangan natin magsulat. Saan tayo magsusulat? Sa papel? Baka mag-code kayo sa papel, pero hopefully not. Pero, magko-code dapat tayo talaga in a development environment, which are called IDEs. So, this is just a set of tools to write programs easily. So, such as NetBeans. I've also included two more here, which is Eclipse and IntelliJ. Then, yung mga statements na ginawa nyo or yung mga code na ginawa nyo, masasave sa file, tapos pwede nyo i-compile, pwede nyo i-run. I'll explain more on how does this work on the next slide. Pero the main gist of development environments are just the programs that you will use to code. Next one is source code. So, lahat ng ginawa nyong code, lahat ng sinulat nyong code is called a source code. Even if it doesn't work, even if mali yan, it's still called a source code because you made it. And it is a written code. So, yun lang. Now, we will go to the Java Environment Machine or JVMs. Ito yung tumutulong kay IDEs or development environments para ma-run yung code natin. Paano? So, ayun. Punta tayo dito sa diagram. So, yung Java source code nyo or yung sinulat yung code, masasave siya sa computer nyo. And then, pag nirun nyo siya, i-compile siya ni Java para maintindihan ni computer. So, magiging magiging .jar, I think, .jar file. Tapos, since yung computer nyo, hindi niya naman alam yung Java, at the start. It's like nagcha-Chinese kayo sa harap ng Filipino. Hindi niya maintindihan yung ginawa nyo. So, papasok ngayon si Java Environment Machine para i-interpret yung Java code into machine code. Itatranslate niya yung language ng Java para maintindihan ng computer nyo. Okay? So, we will get more into detail with this when I actually teach you hands-on development, hands-on programming, and I teach you how to install Java development kits and Java development environments. So that's just the main idea. JVM will convert the Java code that is compiled into machine language that your computer will understand. Ito kino-convert ni Java Environment Machine yung ginawa nyong code sa Java and na-compiled na papunta sa machine code na naiintindihan ng computer nyo. Okay? So, let's go into Java environment. So, may mga code na dito. So, if I am going too fast, you can just tell me para para mas maintindihan natin yung lesson. I don't want people to get left behind. So, in Java, there are two applications actually. First one is applications, which are standalone programs. So, may familiar ba sa inyo itong mga to? All of these are made using Java. They are standalone programs, means gumagana sila ng sila lang. Now, applets, on the other hand, are program embedded into a web page. So, a good example of this are search engines. So, mga search engine na gumagamit ng Java code para mag-search or para ma-perform yung function nila. For example, pwede din buttons, pwedeng mga database requests, etc. etc. So, yun yung pagkakaiba nila. Applets, kailangan mag-rely sa webpage. Application, siya lang, kaya niya mag-isa. So, let's go to an example of a Java program. Itong buong 3 lines na to or 5 lines is already a Java program. Why? Because it can be run and there's an output. So, every Java program has a class. So, think of a class as like, how do you do this? So, for example, dito sa school. So, the school is the main program. Ngayon, yung class, yun yung mga departments within the school. So, there's IT Dev, there's HR Dev, Accounting Dev, other subjects, yung mga yon. So, mga class yon. And then, within those class, merong mga methods. So, think of those methods as the employees, kami. Tas, bawat method, bawat employee, meron silang ginagawa. Meron silang nako-contribute. So, first, pasok na tayo sa class. So, dun muna tayo sa mga department. So, bawat class daw has an access modifier. So, access modifiers, it basically just means if the class can be accessed publicly or not. So, pwede ba siyang, kunyari, pwede mo bang hiramin si Sir ganto mula sa department na ganto? Pag hindi, ang lalagay mo yan, private. Pag pwede, public yung lalagay mo. And then after that, lalagay mo yung class na keyword para masabi na class siya. And then after that, you're going to put a class name. So, this is called, I actually forgot what it's called. But the formatting of names, if you want to follow practices or on-field practices, dapat ganito yung pagsusulat nyo ng class names. Always capitalize every word and then you must not put spaces in between. So, let's go to the next. So, ngayon, para malaman mo kung hanggang saan yung limitations ng class, you have to put curly braces or curly brackets. So, ayan siya, as mentioned by these arrows. So, lahat ng nasa loob niyan, ng curly brackets na yan, nakapaloob dito kay first program. And then, after that, there's a main method. So, bawat class, mayroong main method. So, not mind that. So, bawat class may main method, which is yun yung mga professors. Sila yung mga, this is not the main method. What the heck? Oh no. Namali.